Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
It's 5:07. Good morning. Thursday, the 10th day of July, as we kick things off here for our morning extravaganza. And it's going to be a busy one. There's lots to talk about going on in your nation's capital. Remember when summer used to be slow around here? Not so much anymore. 7:05, John Reed is running for Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. 7:35 brings us Congressman Andy Harris of Maryland. 8:05, KT McFarland, latest in the Middle East, and potentially a new war with Vladimir Putin, this time with Donald Trump. And then at 8:35, our buddy Sean Spicer will join us. He's got many thoughts about yesterday's hearing where we were supposed to have Joe Biden's doctor testifying. He pled the fifth. Not doctor-patient privilege, no. The fifth against self-incrimination. Why would he be exposed to criminal incrimination if he just testified about his opinion of Joe Biden's health? Boy, that gets interesting, doesn't it? We'll talk about it, and we'll have Sean Spicer on about it at 8:35. And when I say we, I don't mean the mouse in my pocket. I mean Bethany Mandel. Good morning, Bethany. Did your mom ever used to say that to you when you said, hey, are we doing this? And then your mom would say, who's we? You and that mouse in your pocket?
I didn't sign up for a busy day. I signed up for a slow day where we talk about lifestyle things.
You know what?
I think I'm going to bail.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is not the Hugh Hewitt show. We're busy, fast-moving. We get a lot taken care of here.
Throwing arrows against my friend Hugh this morning. That's
my
rough.
friend, too. But, come on. At some point, geez, it's just slow-paced stuff, Low-energy Jeb thing going on there.
Brutal. It's okay. Nobody listens to this show, so hopefully it won't get back to him.
To this show at all, yeah. Hey, yesterday was insane. I mentioned in the weather report all day yesterday that, listen, we're going to have some afternoon storms after 4 p.m., and because of the thick humidity in the air, some of these clouds might just be stagnant, and that means dropping 2 to 4 inches of rain per hour, and it could flash flooding and things like that. I had no idea that it was actually, the opening scenes of Independence Day when the alien ships land over the White House and hover. That cloud that stretched. I saw a video from Bowie, Maryland.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
15 miles off the Beltway or 10 miles off the Beltway. That was insanity.
Yeah, no, it was bad. My mom always used to say, like, I'm ready for the twister. I'm Annie M. Let's go.
Yeah.
I felt like that a little bit yesterday. It was pretty bad.
Well, and growing up in the Midwest, I got used to that, right? And Meredith's family is in Oklahoma. We visit there a lot, and the storms are crazy in Oklahoma too, and that's typical. But it's not normal to have that kind of storm focused right here in the Mid-Atlantic for such a concentrated time. My neighbor actually, like right across the street and like one house over, had a lightning bolt strike his yard.
Yeah, and it set off your car alarm.
And my car alarm started going off.
That's wild.
The whole block was insane. And it wasn't too long, but it was intense. Do your kids freak out, or do they love storms like that? So
my kids love to. This is weird. Do kids do this? I don't know if this is just a Mandel kid thing, but they like to pace. They find it relaxing to just pace, and so they like to go.
I think that's your kids, and I think you may seek professional help. Yeah,
my kids like to go on our front lawn after dinner and just run back and forth and just pace on my front lawn.
Yeah,
so they were really bummed they couldn't get their evening, 1,000 steps in on my front lawn. And so
what's left of your front yard lawn after all of that traffic.
So we have a covered back porch. It's beautiful. I love it. It's the reason we bought our house. And I sent my kids out onto the back porch that's like fully enclosed, and they're screened in and everything. And they came in instantly. They're like, "That is too scary.
Really?
We are not staying outside in that."
That's funny.
I was like, well, that's got to be pretty bad if you guys won't even be in the screened-in porch.
Right. Well, that's fun. When there's a summer storm and you're in a screened-in porch, it's really because you're in the storm, but you're not in the storm.
Yes, that's what I love. But a lot of people in my neighborhood lost power. Thank God we didn't. But apparently it was like 2 nights in a row of power outages in my neighborhood.
Yeah, we lost power earlier in the summer with a tree that went down and took out a line. But this one, there were. I mean, we had some flickering, but we didn't have an actual outage in our neighborhood.
Yeah, there's a part of my neighborhood that's all trees, and the trees fall every single storm.
It's sad because it's one of the cool things about living here is you get all these really beautiful old growth trees, and it is gorgeous. The problem is it's what takes the power out, either in a snowstorm or in a crazy rainstorm like that. And did you have car alarms going off in your neighborhood too, or did the lightning not hit until it got closer to the bay?
No, I think we didn't hear any alarms. It was just so we had like flooding going down our street. Was, and it was funny because when I got home yesterday from radio, I parked like I was drunk, and I got home in a different. So I drove Seth's car here because it's tiny and fun to drive, and not my giant tank, and I leave that tank for him to bring the kids to summer camp in the morning.
Sure, yeah.
And when I went out with that tank and came home, I saw how I parked Seth's car, and I was like, oh, my God, that's so embarrassing.
Yeah, we do need to stop serving Bloody Marys Unlimited during the morning show.
How do you think we stay awake? It's not coffee.
And so chipper and energized.
But I was like, I have to go out there and fix the car, and then I didn't because it was so bad. So I laughed when I got in the car this morning. I was like, all right, I was going to fix this parking job. It
was a crazy combination. First, it sort of came on suddenly, and it was, really heavy rain, lightning strikes, and heavy winds. The wind gusts were serious, too, as it was all blowing. At some points, the rain was going sideways. We weren't actually home at the time that the storm hit, but I talk about the fact that we have a Tesla car, and the Teslas are all like wired, connected to the internet, and you can control your car on your phone from hundreds of miles away and stuff, and turn on. And Meredith and I both got we're sitting there hanging out, and we both get an alert at the same time that our car alarm had gone off. And so we immediately called our neighbor. Our neighbor Paul is there. It goes, yeah. Everyone loves to hear that. Our neighbor Paul. Everyone should have a retired master sergeant live across the street from them. Everyone should have an E9 retired who is on top of everything, and nothing happens in our neighborhood without Paul knowing everything. And he's the best. He's so helpful for us because we travel a lot. And we called Paul immediately and said, "Hey, is everything okay? Our car alarm just went off, and we can't see what's going on. Our cameras aren't working." And he explained, how bad the storm was because we weren't home at the time that it happened.
I have friends that just got a Tesla yesterday,
yeah.
And they are, and I'm curious if you get this too, they're getting harassed about it by their neighbor and by their family. That they're
we live far enough away from the Looney Tunes Beltway.
Okay, so I live in Montgomery County, where Looney Tunes are the reg. They're the norm.
By the way, 3 years ago, if you didn't have a Tesla, you'd get harassed for ruining the planet. Now
I want the Tesla minivan. I think we talked about this on air recently. Yeah. Where is my Tesla minivan?
I'm shocked that he hasn't come up with one because he's so in favor of big families and people
I want an
procreating.
8-seater Tesla minivan.
The Model Y, you can get 6 into a Model Y, but the last 2 in the back seat, which is optional, there is a third row in a Model Y.
Oh, that's what they got. I was wondering what that was. Okay.
But they have to be, once you get, if you're a normal-sized 13, 14-year-old, you really can't fit back there. So, luckily, a lot of the midshipmen at the Naval Academy are short and tiny, so they fit back there.
So they have these bumper stickers that say I got my car before he went crazy or something. Oh, and I told my friends they should get a bumper sticker that says, yes, this car is actually a political statement.
That's right. That's what I would do. This too shall pass with all the Tesla owners, I promise. It's a fine car. Don't worry about the political statement in one direction or the other. It's 5:15.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
We talked yesterday, Bethany, about Prime Day, right, for Amazon, and people getting all excited about taking advantage of the sales. I kept getting alerts yesterday. Meredith and I share the same Amazon account, of course, so I kept getting alerts all day saying, "Ooh, your cart is full, ready to check out." It's like, what is she doing over there?
Never do that.
But, yeah, I can monitor every single order. No, she got some good deals, actually, so that's a good thing. a lot of skincare coming our way, apparently.
Oh, good.
Meredith is in charge of our skincare.
She doesn't look like she needs it. She's a young chicken.
That's the secret, see.
Amazing. Maybe she should have like an affiliate link.
Not to sound too much like a metrosexual, but she's got me on a skincare regimen now, and I can tell the difference. My micro lines are disappearing. Anyway, this isn't about that. This is about an Amazon nightmare. There's a woman in the Bay Area in California who is living out an absolute nightmare, and it's all Amazon's fault, kind of. Here, take a look at the local news report there from their ABC affiliate.
Over 100.
Kay Holton is utterly confused as to why hundreds of these large Amazon packages keep appearing on her San Jose doorstep. She says it's been nonstop for more than a year.
It started with one package, and I was like, it's got my address, but it's not for me. And I went to my neighbors, and I was like, oh, did somebody accidentally put the wrong last digit on the address? No, nobody knew what it was.
The mystery shipping spree that's now haunting an entire half section of her carport.
And what you see now is a fraction, because I have refused delivery on more packages than you see here.
So what? Her house is overflowing with Amazon deliveries, and they're all giant packages. Apparently, what happened here is a Chinese company who sells their seat covers via Amazon, they erroneously had her address as the return address on Amazon. So there's people all around the world who are getting these seat covers delivered, and they're returning them, and the return address is this lady's house.
So I did not feel bad for her until I heard that it was seat covers, and I was like, oh, I don't want seat covers either. I had to. This is sort of embarrassing.
These are car seat covers, by the way.
Right? It's really boring stuff. So I have a cleaning lady who I love more than anything in this world, and she yesterday had to help me open all my packages because I had too many. In my defense,
you actually needed help opening boxes.
It was too many because I'm sending my older kids off to sleepaway camp, so it's like a mesh bag for the shower and after bite thing, and I'm a Jewish mother, so I'm ordering a lot of things just in case they need it, just in case they get a bug bite and they want whatever. So and they all come in these all separate little packages, and I just got so overwhelmed that she helped me.
Oh, that's nice. It's good to have a neighbor that does that.
No, not a neighbor. The cleaning lady. I paid for her services.
Sorry, cleaning lady. So some people get an odd satisfaction over opening boxes and uncartoning things. And also there's a whole genre of YouTube videos where people make millions on their followers watching them unbox things and open things in boxes. There's some psychological satisfaction people get out of it.
I really don't understand. Though I will say I follow influencers that get like these press kits.
Yeah.
And I would like some press kits.
Press kits are cool.
They look fun. Can I sign up for them?
These days, a lot of press kits come digitally, though, so it's not quite as fun. But some of the bougie Hollywood ones are. Well, so back to our woman here whose home is overflowing with returned car seat covers. And by the way, before you ask, no, none of the seat covers actually fit her car, so she can't even use them. She called Amazon, and she's like, guys, I'm getting all these shipments. And, of course, Amazon isn't shipping them to her.
Right.
It's the end user who was returning the seat covers looking for a refund. And Amazon has just said, lady, it has nothing to do with us. We can't help you. Just, give them away. But I'm thinking, no. You know what she should do? She should sell these seat covers on Amazon. Isn't that perfect poetry there? She's literally getting all of this inventory and stock of this product that clearly there's some demand for.
I mean, there is actually a problem with these like Chinese sellers on Amazon. And the fact that Amazon won't do anything for this woman, that they're just like, well, guess it's your problem now, lady.
Yeah.
That's not cool. But it looks like they're getting some pressure to actually, because of all this news coverage, like you shouldn't have to go public to not have like your space invaded by hundreds of giant boxes of useless items.
Right. And I look at this, and the biggest, like what freaks me out is having to deal with the recycling. But the worst thing about all these deliveries is I don't know about where you live, but where I live, you got to break down all the boxes and you have to tie them up and get them out there. It's the one reason why I hate getting shipments is because now I can't just like the good old days.
That was part of what my cleaning lady helped me with.
breaking down the boxes is the insanity. So our heart goes out to this woman, and this is definitely a Prime Day downside if you're addicted to all the great deals. It's 5:23.
Making sense of your world.
I don't know where to begin.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Thanks for taking my call.
Making sense of the news.
All right, coming up, we're going to get the latest on that horrific scene right now on the Beltway at Old Georgetown Road, near River Road, this tractor trailer that Jamie's been telling you about. We'll give you the latest. Also, the latest out of New York City. We've got a poll, and it shows the communists can be defeated. We'll tell you how next.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 5:36 on what's turning out to be a very busy and rough morning on the freeways and byways. I still say freeway because I grew up in California. Forgive me. Expressways, highways, the Beltway in particular. Between Old Georgetown Road and River Road. Yeah, exactly. What an ideal place in the outer loop. Completely shut down with a tractor trailer over a overpass. We're going to give you details every 10 minutes on that, as hopefully it gets cleaned up sooner rather than later. But we're giving you a heads up right now. It's not going to be easy this morning. But you know what? No one ever said it was going to be easy. Coming up at 7:05, John Reed running for Lieutenant Governor in Virginia. 7:35, Congressman Andy Harris of Maryland. Oh. We accidentally put him in Virginia there on the rundown. No, he is. He's from Maryland. I fixed it. 8:05, KT McFarland is going to join us. And at 8:35, Sean Spicer. It's Larry O'Connor with Bethany Mandel this morning. Good morning, Bethany. Aren't you glad you don't have to be on the outer loop of the Beltway right now?
I drove on the Beltway to get here, and I saw no indication of trouble. I'm so glad. What would I do? What would I do if I was late and I couldn't get here? Would you just do the show?
It would be a nightmare.
Me?
We'd have to just put a best of on or something, or we'd wake Chris Plant up and just have him start talking. I've seen Chris Plant at 5 in the morning. It's not pretty. Yet it's funny. We usually say that our 5:15 traffic report is really dedicated to our boss because he's commuting at that time.
Oh, that's so funny.
And this would be his route. The boss happens to be on vacation this week.
Oh, look at that! You should email him and say, "Look at you go."
He has dodged a bullet. No, he is not even close to this time zone, so I don't want to wake him up. But yeah, this would absolutely be causing a nightmare for him. And me, by the way. This is my commute. This would be Patrice's commute if it was a Friday. You dodged the bullet. You were on the outer loop, but apparently this happened right after you came in.
Oh, so fascinating. People should look up the pictures, by the way. I found them on Twitter, and the fire service, Pete Pringinger on Twitter is posting
he's
them.
Great.
They're crazy. I hope that the driver's okay. It's very scary.
Yeah,
Looks
apparently he is being looked at. What happened here, at least what we can sort of discern, is this tractor trailer. It's currently dangling off a bridge on the outer loop of the Beltway after crashing this morning. It looked like it was during the 4 o'clock hour, a little after. Well, no, I'm surprised this didn't hit you actually coming in. You were outer loop from Silver Spring, and you probably got off at Connecticut to get to the radio station.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's because the volume wasn't there yet. Now that the volume's there, it's going to be hampering you in a big way. And of course, into Virginia, across the American Legion Bridge. This is a truck that was hauling refrigerated mushrooms at the time of the crash, and it was around 1:10 in the morning that the crash occurred. And the driver's been rescued. He must have been in the cab.
Yeah.
Basically, if I can paint the picture for you, coming off this bridge, the overpass. The trailer is basically 50-50 still dangling over the lanes of the Beltway, and then the other half is sort of into the tree line area there in the greenery. And meanwhile, the cab of the truck has jackknifed underneath that trailer. He was rescued eventually and has been taken for medical care. and say yes, say your prayers for him. But it's an ugly scene right now, and it's gonna. This is the kind of thing that is not going to be easy to clean up. I don't know what kind of rig.
I was just thinking that. How are they going to do that? They'll have to get like a crane or something to pull it off.
It appears that that's what's needed. I mean, this is a lot of weight and a lot. The driver has been injured.
They closed all the lanes. Like I'm looking at the map, and it's like all along like by NIH near Chevy Chase. It's all closed.
Yeah, and again, Jamie Whitten is all over it. She's on top of it. It'll be a big part of her traffic reports all morning long. If this is part of your commute, either from Northern Virginia, coming in across the river there at the American Legion Bridge, or if you're coming in from Maryland and you have to use that outer loop of the Beltway up from Silver Spring on, you're going to want to either find an alternate route or let the boss know that you'd rather work from home today if possible. Just pretend there's a pandemic. Just call in. You do your best Fauci impersonation. I would love to come in, but to be safe and to make sure everybody Oh, he was such a big part of our lives, wasn't he? And it's like you hardly even
I miss
hear
those.
from Fauci.
I miss those. Thank you, Anthony Fauci lawn signs that were all over my.
Oh
neighborhood.
yes, and the sainted
now
votive
it's "We stand
candles.
with Ukraine,"
Right.
and something about Elon Musk.
Thank God they have something to pray for, if that's what you call
I
pray.
want to start a sign business.
By the way, to add to the mess, there was a fuel spill as well. Part of the fuel tank of this cab got punctured, so there was fuel out. They had to get hazmat crews out for that as well. Some of the lanes on the I-270 spur are also blocked during the response as well. So it's just a mangle of the worst possible wreckage in the worst possible place for the morning commute. So again, it's bad, it's ugly, and we'll try to give you updates, not just every 10 minutes, but as other parts of this story develop.
And the upside is people can sit in their cars and listen to us.
That is the upside.
Let's just try to be positive.
It's the dirty little secret in Morning Drive that we feel for you, and we feel awful that you have to deal with traffic, but on the upside, it's actually good for our ratings. So keep it right here on 105.9 FM. It's 5:43.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 till 9 on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Well, get used to it. We're going to spend a lot of time between now and Election Day focusing on that mayoral race in New York City because, well, it's a pretty big story when a communist who's only been a citizen of the country for 7 years is the leading candidate, 33-year-old Zohran Mamdani, who has made no secret of his radical views. And, by the way, he seems proud. He hasn't deleted any of his old social media posts that are, radical is the only word for it. He, of course, defeated Andrew Cuomo in the Democrat primary. Andrew Cuomo's name's still on the ballot, and therefore they're still polling him. In fact, the latest poll shows a four-way race between Kami Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, the Republican nominee Curtis Sliwa, and the incumbent mayor Eric Adams, who is also running as an independent. The good news is that Mamdani is currently only polling at 35%. Bethany.
The bad
news is that 35%, as it currently sits, is enough to win the race.
Yeah, like not even close, honestly. Andrew Cuomo is polling 10 points behind him at 25%. Silwa, the Republican, is at 14%, and Eric Adams is at 11%. Undecided is doing better than the current mayor at 13%.
Yeah. And clearly, if the goal here is to keep Zohran Mamdani from being mayor of New York, the other three candidates are going to have to figure out some way to set their egos aside. Good luck with that with Andrew Cuomo.
I mean, I understand the impulse not to pull out. You've worked so hard. Yeah. You put so much of yourself into this. And you're kind of, it's like that Mexican standoff where everyone's pointing at everyone else.
Yes, yes.
But, I mean, New York City cannot be run by this man, and I just the problem is, I mean, as far as Cuomo goes, who's the front runner, he's such a raging psychotic narcissist.
Right.
There's just no chance that he would move the needle at all. So
yeah, I mean that's the question. If you're a Cuomo or a Sliwa or an Adams voter, who are you more likely to vote for?
Well, the problem also with Sliwa is that if he pulls out, just another Republican will be there. So him dropping out doesn't really help at all, in my opinion, because a lot of people are going to vote for whoever the Republican is.
Well, no, there won't be another Republican. I mean, his name's on the ballot.
Right.
Yeah, so people might just vote for him regardless,
Yeah,
I guess.
I mean, it's up to Cuomo or Eric Adams, and just Cuomo's
Well, that's
so
the vexing
vile.
thing. Cuomo and Adams combined defeat Zohran Mamdani,
Right.
based on this latest poll.
So it seems like a lot of people are coalescing around Eric Adams, which now that I'm seeing these poll numbers maybe is not the best move because undecided is more popular than Eric Adams.
Right.
I don't know. I don't live in New York anymore. I'm grateful for it. But to me, it makes a lot more sense to go Adams than it does Cuomo. He carries so much baggage. And from what I've heard from people who talked to his campaign during the primary season, he just did not care. He didn't show up to the candidate forums.
Yeah.
He was apparently on Zoom calls with, influencers and all of these kinds of people in the city, and he was playing on his phone on Zoom. He wasn't even engaged.
Yeah. Oh, it's and here's the other problem with Andrew Cuomo. Excuse me.
you.
I'm sorry. Morning allergies in the summer. No one in Andrew Cuomo's campaign apparatus, it appears, ever sat the candidate down and said, "Here's the problem, Mr. Cuomo. If you don't mind me saying so, I got to be frank with you. People hate you."
Yes, and with good reason, actually.
And with very good reason after the pandemic.
It's not unfounded, as it turns out. No, I mean, that's the problem with all of these sort of people. You have to be a raging narcissist to have so little shame that you would continue to do these campaigns and do all of this. And they just, it's.
Speaking of being a raging narcissist, Eric Adams, the incumbent mayor, is trying to match Zohran Mamdani with clever Instagram, TikTok videos. Not going well, though. Basically, they put out a video showing how hard he works early in the morning. He's ironing his own suit at 8:07 a.m. It's one of those day-in-the-life videos. Here's a day in the life of Eric Adams. At 8:16, he's getting his coffee. At 8:45, he's making his breakfast. First of all, he's there in his T-shirts, sort of. He's
awkward.
He's not quite as fit as he was when he was a
I didn't
transit
want to see
cop.
half naked.
Yeah, it's not a good look for him. It makes like Al Sharpton is saying, "Dude, put yourself together." And then here's my favorite part. If you see the frame here where it says 9:07 a.m. and he's drinking his protein shake or whatever it is, if you look at the wall clock behind him in the kitchen, it actually says it's 11 a.m.
Yeah, I too sometimes get confused. I mean,
Maybe he just hasn't changed the batteries in his wall clock.
But this really, to me, this exemplifies why Mamdani is winning in a city like New York, because I truly think he is the first election to be won based on a font.
Yes.
His graphic design, his videography. His mom was a filmmaker.
That's right. It's showbiz, baby.
His output is gorgeous, and it reminds me of Barack Obama.
Yeah.
It is clean, it is polished, it is hip, it is fun, it is futuristic, it is hope. And then you see Eric Adams in his underwear making a protein shake, and he's not even, his staff and him are not even savvy enough to realize that they've made fools of themselves with the clock.
Jerry Nadler, a Jewish Democrat congressman from New York, and former city official. He's been a New York politician for like literally 60 years, I think, at this point. Was rumors that Nadler is ripe for a primary challenge from one of these young upstart socialists, endorsed by AOC or Zohran Mamdani, and he's terrified that he's going to lose his seat in a primary bid. So apparently his team is reaching out to Mamdani's team, because Nadler has actually expressed some lukewarm reservations about this guy, understandably so if you're Jewish in New York. Nadler's team now is trying to make nice with him and make a deal where Nadler will endorse Mamdani and try to bring some of his Jewish constituents over to Mamdani's side in exchange for Mamdani promising not to support a primary challenge against him. How despicable is that?
So remember yesterday when I said Richie Torres was really disappointing me with Mamdani? Mm-hmm. This is the answer. What happened? So he was on CNN last night against Scott Jennings, And he said that Zohar Mamdani allies are threatening to primary him, along with 4 other New York City House Democrats.
There you go.
And so, I mean, this is maybe why he's towing the line a little bit with because, I mean, rightfully so. I mean, Mamdani's winning, okay? Like, he's not a powerless individual, and so I think that Torres is a little bit seeing the writing on the wall and, you know, has to kowtow to keep his job. But
this is how communists operate, man. Just read the history books.
So
this is Bolshevik stuff. It's 5:54.